Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. Today is Thursday, March 3rd. Already March. Can you feel it yet, people? Can you feel the change in the air, the change of the weather, the change in maybe your allergies are acting up? Maybe you're smiling a little bit more. Maybe you saw sun wherever you're at in the country or in the world. Did you see the sun today? I sure did. I saw it quite a bit. In sunny California, we get sun pretty much every day. Sometimes it's there behind the clouds. Sometimes it's not. But for the most part, we see it, we feel it, and we get energized by it. Yes, the sun is very important. You get vitamin D. You also can get bad sunburn, which, for a man of my stature and my melanin count, being a Hispanic man, I actually tend to sunburn quite often. It's odd. I normally, when I do go outside, if I do, do something, in the outside for particularly a long time, I notice a little bit of a reddish hue on my arms, and I'm like, oh dear God, this is not good. Or on my face. And this is a much of a problem that I feel like I've just never been able to shake in my entire existence. And it's actually very odd because nobody else in my family really does sunburn. But my, lack of, of a darker shade, I tend to burn quite easily. And it can be painful. And I do notice it because when I get sunburn on my face, it's, it peels off, it kind of burns a little bit, and it's just like, it's very uncomfortable. So make sure you're wearing your sunscreen out there if you tend to burn. Or if you tan well, like some people, do, then I guess also put sunscreen on because it protects you from the UV rays. That's a fact, I'm pretty sure. And if I'm wrong, don't quote me because I'm not a scientist, but I'm doing my best here. For what the world has been telling me is that sunscreen is good, and they continue to make it, so it must be pretty damn good. My favorite kind of sunscreen has got to be banana boat, just because of I feel like it's tropical, and I'm not saying that a banana is necessarily a tropical fruit, through and through, but it just feels like it's got a nice feel to it, like I'm going to like some kind of luau or a boat type of thing, or like a beach. You can easily name a beach like the Banana Boat Beach or something like that, or the Banana Boat Resort, and I would immediately think that we're going to an island, whether it be Fiji, the Maldives, Hawaii, whatever, some island in the Caribbean, Jamaica, Cuba, or maybe not Cuba, the Dominican, but all in all, I just get that feel with that sunscreen. There's other kinds too. Normally we get the spray kind sometimes, or the traditional white paste, but there's other kinds like oils and essential tanning lotion, which I guess is sunscreen, but just called tanning lotion. I've never been a big fan of tanning. I feel like I'm okay with my complexion and I enjoy it. But whenever I go out, I'm like, okay, let's just have a little bit of a tanning session. But you never wanted to ever really tan much. I don't like the way, the feeling of sunscreen, I feel like, is never a pleasant feel. It's not like lotion where it kind of like goes into your skin. Sunscreen just stays on the surface, really, to give you that protection that you need if you, so much need it. And, especially if you go into the pool and you put on sunscreen, you come out all like, you can visibly see it, and you're just like, oh God, I feel not slimy, but a little bit slick. And I'm just like, I'm maybe just not going to the pool. Maybe just not go outside. And maybe just stay inside. Or you ever think about getting a spray tan? I've never had one. I've never wanted one either. But I would always, kind of feel like it. I depending on where you want the spray tan, I'd be like a little, cautious. Like, hey, don't spray there. Watch it. I also feel like it'd be, pretty expensive. And how long does that even last, too? Like, is it like for like a week, a couple weeks? Like, does it like, when you first walk out, is it going to be like that for like the duration? Do you wash it off? Can you not take a a shower? And if you do, can it not be so intense? I mean, what if I use a loofah? What if I use a washcloth? What if I use a sponge? Will that rub it off? Is there specific soaps that I can't use? Can I use my Dove? Can I use Old Spice? Not a sponsor, but what goes into that? Never been a big advocate or user of spray tan. Now, I know that there's a tanning mechanism device, more like a coffin, I guess you could say. Like you walk into a tanning bed. There you go. It just popped into my head that that's what it actually is. You walk in, you lay down. There's some blue lights. They give you like these little tiny goggles to put over your eyes, and then you flip the switch. You hear the electrical hue, or maybe not, depending if it's a good machine or not. Zzz, being tanned. How long is that like actual like UV rays, or is it just like some kind of like fancy blue light? Never really knew what that was. Never really took the time to I guess pay attention to it, or never really do it. I don't know. I mean, I feel like those are also meant for like, I got an event I'm gonna go to. I don't got time to go out and tan. I need something like within a 15-minute session, or I don't have really a space to go outside and tan. So I'm gonna do this quick 15-20 minute thing where you get every inch of my body tanned, and we're gonna have a good time. I think that's kind of like what it's all about. Spray and tan is usually like, you just get my face and my arms, and I'll be good for this event that I'm doing, or this shoot or something. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, getting warmer. It's March, by the way, and the past few days have been crazy. They've been a lot. I'll say that they've been a lot. Motions running high. If you don't know this, the world is seeing something that they haven't seen in quite some time. Maybe if you're not fully caught up, I'd say do a little bit of research. And it really broke out pretty much last podcast day. So if you were listening to the podcast and you noticed me talking about Hank the Tank, being essentially, ostracized for his size and his love for food and, his potential addiction, that we need to help him out. And you're looking at the world and you're like, why is this guy talking about that? He should be talking about this or that. And I do recognize that last week's episode, for some people who actually, invested their time into going to see what was happening, probably felt like this is a little misplaced, Alex. I mean, and I do, I do recognize that I did not really know that it was going to happen that quickly. That was going to escalate. Those world powers, the world stuff that's happening now, that's continuing to get worse. Did not think that was going to happen on Thursday. So I apologize if that episode seemed a bit of bad timing. I do apologize, and I could sit back and talk about what's happening with with Ukraine and Russia, but honestly, I'm very underqualified to actually, speak about it publicly and say, throw my opinion out there and say, well, we should do this or we shouldn't do that. I feel like I'm just underqualified, or to react to what world leaders are doing. I just feel like, I as much as we all want to know what's happening, and we all want to know how can we possibly help, or is it getting better? Is it getting worse? There's a lot of, there's a lot of, what's the word? I'm blanking on it. There's a lot of struggle to get information of what's happening, especially like if you don't live in that country or anywhere near it. Like if you live in the U.S. or something like that, there's a lot of, information hunting that's going around. And, whether it be news stations, social media, you name it, other podcasts that actually cover it, YouTube videos, you name it, articles. I just want to, let you guys know that I don't plan to actually delve into that world conflict. And if that's something that you're probably wanting to hear from me, I apologize, but I like to keep a little bit lighter over here on this side of the internet and try not to really focus on the bad times. I know that right now it's very hard if you have people involved or are just actually shocked of what's happening, as I am too. I mean, it's crazy to think about that. at the time of this recording, it's only going to get, from what I've been hearing, it's not going to be getting any better. So, thoughts and prayers, everybody in the Ukraine and being affected by this. And yeah, bad. It's not good. It truly isn't. I understand that a lot of people want to talk about it and look into it and research and see stuff what's happening. I'm going to do my best to not do that and segue to lighter topics. But if you found that misplaced, I do apologize. It was not intended to be that way. I did not. It's just bad timing, It's just stuff happens. But we move on. Something that has actually made me furious about the world that we live in, what people think is fun, what people post on Twitter in particular that they think is not annoying, that they think is fine, that they think is not going to confuse people or incite that confusion might lead to anger or to frustration or to just pure annoyance. And I know I'm kind of behind on this. I agree, and I see it every day. I see it every day, and I just kind of think like, I don't understand this, and I kind of don't want to understand it, but yet here I am. I've got a little bit of insight. I've asked my friends what this thing is, and they've explained it, and it's Wordle. Wordle is the topic. Wordle, what is Wordle? I've got a pretty narrowed down explanation of what Wordle is. Like you guess, you have this many opportunities to guess what word is in these blocks or something like that. And, I guess when you post it, you post like how many opportunities that it took you to get the word correct. And I think that it's like, I guess the less times you take to guess, the smarter you are, or maybe the more savvy you are with words, or maybe you just got that weird flex. You know what I'm saying? So I've stumbled across on the internet and tried to find. I literally typed in what is Wordle, because I have no idea what the hell it is, and I got a bit of a description here by this young lady from a news site I've never heard of, but I'll give her credit here on this podcast because this is the number one podcast on the world. Emily Steadman says, "What is Wordle? Here's how to play the 2022's most popular word game." Now, can't we just go back to, first of all, Words with Friends? I mean, that game is basic. It's fun. It gets you thinking. It's Scrabble, for God's sakes. And I can't believe back then how many people began to despise the game. That just how, people were like, "Oh, this guy's too good," and they quit. Albeit, I was never really good and got mad a lot. But I feel like now that time has passed, my friends have probably gotten a lot worse with words than I have. Well, I don't know. Now they're playing Wordle, so maybe they've actually got, surpassed my knowledge, my capacity for words. But I know maybe 25, honestly. But I just think that now would be a good time to get back with Words with Friends, because Wordle, from what I know, is not an app. It's just a browser game like on the internet. So let's break this down. Let's see, what is Wordle? That's the big question for me and for other people who probably don't even know, which I have to admit I am in the minority in this, because I go against grain. I'm a trailblazer in that. I just kind of like see something and I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know. So Wordle is an online 5-letter word game. Each day, a new word is released, and players have 6 attempts to guess what the word of the day is. Okay, fair. During the guesses, tiles will change color. Oh, UK, COLOUR, to help players get the word of the day. A gray letter means it isn't in today's word, whilst, oh, that's fancy. Whilst a yellow letter signals it is the word, but in the wrong position. Okay, so it's like, you got to get the right. Okay, you can guess a letter, but it's got to be in the right spot. So if I'm trying to spell the word let me think. Tub, right? If the word is tub, and I think it's but, and I put the B at the beginning, then that's incorrect. It's like, no, that's the right word, but it's not correct, so that must mean that's an attempt, right? I'm just spitballing. Okay, so where were we? Wrong position. Then there's the green letter, which means it is in the word and is in the right place. Got it. So players select letters of the alphabet. Well, which alphabet? On the virtual keyboard, I guess, ours, English, and enter them into the 5 blank tiles. When they're happy with their 5-letter word guess, they press the submit button. This then checks the word and lets you know if your word or some of the letters are correct. If it's completely right, then the full 5 letters turn green. So I guess it's like a 5-letter minimum. All right, I mean, seems okay. Let's see. If you correctly guess the word within 6 attempts, then you win the game. If you win 2 days in a row or more, you automatically receive a winning streak. This keeps rolling over unless you fail to guess the word one day and the streak is broken. Okay, it's proved to be a very popular game with 300,000 players reported at the beginning of January. It's now believed to have that over 2 million users are playing Wordle globally. Wow, incredible. Well, I mean, I guess like that's fun. That's cool. I just kind of feel like it's like it's a weird flex. It's like, hey, I can guess a word faster than you can. It feels like it's like a flex, which I'm all for. You flex whatever the hell you want. That's fine with me. I just feel like when you put it on social media, and all you see, first of all, you just see boxes on social media. It's like when you first see it and you don't know what Wordle is, you're like, what the hell is that? I just have no idea what that is. And I'm like, skip, scroll. I don't want to see that shit. And then people are asking me, you should play it. I'm like, first of all, I'm not smart. I don't know if you've ever heard me talk, but like I said, I know like 25 words. Not a big word guy. Was never really a big English guy. I mean, think about English. It's a class where you read books that nobody likes and nobody wants to read. They make you write about it. And then they want you to use words that you've probably never even heard of, and they don't even teach you. They just say use better grammar or better vocabulary. It's like, what? I don't know any of this. Why can't we read like books that are like good, like Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter? Even though I don't really care for them, like why don't we read like good books like Hunger Games? Why the freak? No, it's past 10 minutes. Why the hell are we reading The Great Gatsby? Why the hell are we reading The Catcher in the Rye? Why the hell are we reading Macbeth? Thou is stupid. That is stupid. Thou is, Shakespeare. We don't speak Shakespeare English. I speak American English. You can speak British English. You could speak Australian English. You can speak Canadian English, which, by the way, Canadian English is probably one of the worst Englishes of all time. They don't even say about. They say a boot. About. There's no boot there. I'm saying about. Or sorry. It's like it's sorry, not sorry. Now just getting a little mad about pronunciations of some words that are. Yeah, it's just like I'm sure they get mad at how I say water in the UK. Like it's water. No, what? Like that's so much harder to say. Just water. It's simple. Like it's wet. It's water. I was like, no, it's water. It's spotted tea. Now I'm just spitballing here about other cultures. I shouldn't be doing that. That's silly of me. But I cannot get past a boot. I'm sorry. No matter how much I try to do it, but whenever they do say a boat, I'm like, get out of here. Just get the hell out of here. Again, no offense to Canada or the Canadians. I love Canadian bacon. But it's just, why? What's the point? They also got other words for other things, like they got, I don't, it's just things I've heard that I can't think of right now on the top of my head. That shows you how little I prepared. But Wordle, all right, cool. Do your thing. Let it be rung. Let freedom ring. Post your Wordle. Maybe I should just mute Wordle on Twitter. Maybe I should. I don't like seeing it. I wouldn't want to do it. And I'm like, I ain't gonna be a fucking follower. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are like, do Wordle, do Wordle, do Wordle. Why is it whenever I suggest something, they're like, no. But whenever they're like, suggested, like, do it. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, okay, like I said, words with friends. I will do it again. Hand to Christ, I'll do it. Check it out again. That was fun. It was a lot of fun. But will people do it? Will people follow in my footsteps? I don't think so. I feel like I'm like in a way, I'm like a misunderstood prophet. Like, I have power because I have the internet, which, everybody technically does. Some people don't, but I feel like everybody in the universe who has access to the internet is essentially can have the same power as a prophet back in like biblical times. Like, those guys back then just shouted at a bunch of people and they're like, yeah, or they might have shouted and they're like, boo, hang him, shit like that. Internet has the actual possibilities of you cracking, hitting the gold mine on a post or a tweet is, while it may feel pretty like a no chance whatsoever, there's a possibility that your tweet can get picked up and circulated and algorithmed and everything. And sometimes people post something so stupidly common sense and it gets like so many goddamn retweets and favorites, and you're like, oh shit, who's this guy? Oh, a nobody. What the fuck? Like, this guy just got lucky. Or you hit the gold mine, or you have something so good that's like so clever and witty and does nothing. Or you could have something that's so I guess relatable. Like, people love to post on Twitter about relationships and spouses and partners and all that. Like, when Bae does this, when Bae does that, and it gets so many fucking things. Or if you ever stumbled on horny Twitter, when they post like literal porn and they're like, they get so many things, or like me RN, or I want to be like this RN, and it's some dude embracing his loved one in a very provocative way, and then it gets so much traction. It's like, yeah, me RN, or I want to be like this RN. It's like, it's like people are so are so simple. It's so it feels like it's so easy to get traction on Twitter, and I guess to go viral with a post or a tweet. But it's like, do you have the guts to do it? Do you really want to, make it? Is it worth my time? At the end of the day, no. I mean, yeah, it would be, but it's also about like timing, I guess. Like, is it the right time to post this? Whether it's, I guess cool or not, and you're like, oh, I'll give it a shot. Why not? I might strike gold. This might be a gold mine. But yeah, that's just, I ain't gonna, I think Wordle is out of the question in my future. As much as, people want me to do it, I don't think you don't know how dumb I really am. I'm sorry, it's just not gonna take. Plus, can you look up like words like that on using the internet, or is that cheating? Is there a way to cheat at Wordle? Like, and if it is, like, I mean, first of all, why don't people just do that all the time and just like, I mean, I guess to, strengthen your brain and your knowledge, you can just guess words, but if you want that streak and just fucking, get it, have another tab open and search a wordlet that's got like, I don't know, like like 5 consonants, or like 2 vowels and 3 consonants or whatever. Speaking of which, one of my friends actually pointed out like a long life question that I've always had. When you were a kid and you like learn like A, E, I, O, U is a vowel and sometimes Y. I don't think that I ever really knew when Y would be a vowel. And I was like, wait a sec, did they just miss that in elementary school? Like they never finished that lesson? Because I still don't know. I didn't know when Y was used, when it would be a vowel. And then one of my friends was like, yeah, like it's like used when Y makes the I sound, like rhyme, or isn't like time like a seasoning spelled with a Y, or like rhyme, like R-Y. I don't even know how to spell it. Shit, I'm so stupid. But the word rhyme is spelled with a Y. That's when it would be a vowel. Like, oh, that's cool. I had no idea. I literally thought that, like, I actually had no idea. Which, I'm looking at you, Mrs. Blank. You didn't teach me that when you should have. Maybe you did, but you didn't get it stuck in my skull like it really needed to be. What if I needed that in what if I was trapped on a bomb and I needed to say, the timer was rigged, so I had to say 5 words when Y is a vowel. And I'm like, that wasn't taught to me. I need to go back to school. Because they don't even teach you that in college. That's not even a thing. It's like there's no brushing up on things I learned when I was in 2nd grade. And sometimes I'm like, I need a little bit of a brush up. I'm sorry. One of the worst things ever that is not, Y being a vowel is how many papers that they would make you write in in college, actually, and the way they wanted you to write them too. Like it's almost like English is like is a subject, like this is how we teach it, and we're going to teach you how you could teach it, because English is only to make you become a teacher. It's not to make you a better speaker of English. It's to make you be a better writer. But I'm thinking, like, wait a minute. Books and news articles are like one of the most, some of the most, viewed, read types of written media. A news column, an opinion piece, a novel, a book, short stories, whatever that may be. It's like these books don't have that kind of grammar. They say I. They speak in the present tense or first person, or whatever the hell it was even called back then. This motherfucker named J.K. Rowling uses muggles, and I'm like, muggle isn't even a word. I mean, how is that even allowed? How is that legal? Or, they're putting in, like, whenever a character's like grunts, they'll actually write it out like, whoa, English teacher, this is against English. I mean, what's happening here? She's making millions and millions of dollars on the Sorcerer's Stone. Meanwhile, I'm getting dinged because I didn't use who in the right context. I used whomst or whom. It's like, I mean, maybe teach me how to write a book. That way I can make some money, But then they're like, no, that's a different class. That's critical thinking and creative writing. It's like, oh, shit. Well, I don't know. Maybe push with that. Maybe lead off with that, because we can all kind of speak English pretty well. It's also another thing. It's never speaking English in English class. It's only writing English for the most part. It's like, wait a minute. Hold on. Why is it not just called writing English? Maybe the Board of Education should take a look at that and maybe describe it a little bit better. My brother one time was in a class where he was not allowed, and it was an English class. This is where it was kind of wild to me. He wasn't allowed to say yeah. He could only say yes. It's like, oh, I want that class right there. At least he's making me speak it a little bit better. He hated the class. I think he dropped it in the future, but that was like, okay, that's an English class where they are pushing formal English. I understand that, because it's not our language as Americans, right? It's the English language from England, Great Britain, and all those fools over there. Or sometimes you could argue that in some parts of their country they don't even speak it correctly, and it's like, hold on. I feel like we actually speak it better than you do. Just saying. Now I'm gonna get threats from my England buddies and my friends from England that I met. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't meet any. But if they listen to this show, they're like, "This motherfucker don't say it right. He's saying it like an American." No, I'm speaking Aussie. I don't even know. I can't nail an accent down. I realize that. Or if I do, my technique is to nail down a phrase like crikey, that's a big one there. He's a beauty. Like you, that's my impression of an Australian hunter. Steve Irwin, may he rest in peace. That's just how I kind of nail down an impression, accent. I kind of do it like that. You can't just spitball, say words that are like in a sentence in an accent if you've never done it before. It's like impossible. Your brain will like fry and like do something stupider or a different accent that you try to do. Now you can say Harry Potter like Harry Potter in British or whatever, England English, and it would actually be, passable, I guess, or water. And it's water, but I did do an impression a couple years ago on my other podcast. It was George Sr. from Arrested Development, played by Jeffrey Tambor, who I don't think is in the best light now, but this is an impression of his voice, and the impression was when he's talking about the banana stand, that there's always money in there, and they burn it down by accident, and then they find out that the money is like in the walls of the banana stand. Like, Michael, there's always money in the banana stand. Kind of like that. You just kind of like gotta find one phrase and take off from there, because I truly feel like most humans who have a voice and vocal cords and a throat can pretty much do any voice that they want to. Cracking up right now. If you put your mind to it, and you gotta do, like, you can't just do it in like your regular speaking voice or your regular speaking patterns. You gotta be animated. You gotta like raise your voice, do movements, open your mouth more to do that. So a little, if you want to do an impression, you really gotta become that person. You can't just do it and not give any effort. That's one of the worst things whenever somebody's like trying to do an impression and they do so half-assed, they just kind of, make a fool out of themselves. I'm like, come on, give me a little bit. Give me some passion. Prove it to me. I know I'm not an actor, but like prove it to me that you can do it, or that you do it. You've done it before. I just kind of want to get a bit of what you can do. I saw Free Guy a couple days ago. Didn't think that I would like it as much as I did. I'll be honest. If you don't know, this Free Guy is starring Ryan Reynolds, Jodie Comer. It's a movie about an AI, and he's an AI in a video game that is like a open world type game where players can do whatever they want, and he's an NPC. He's just like a blue shirt wearing NPC who does the same thing, and it's like essentially like if you're playing Grand Theft Auto and you rob a bank or you do a heist, the people around you that don't do anything just kind of run away whenever like you walk around with a gun. If you punch them, they'll punch back for a little bit, and then if you kill them, then they'll die. That's an NPC, essentially. A non-playable character. And I know that the video game guys out there, the coders, the animators, the AI guys are going to be like, no, actually, it's more than that. It's actually bigger than you think. This is just my view of it is as a gamer. Well, actually, I should say probably avid gamer. Some people might come after me if I say gamer. Avid, casual gamer. Is that fine? That's just what I see in it. But anyways, back to the movie. It's on Disney Plus now, and obviously it's not a Disney studio made movie. It's made by 20th Century Studios. But after Disney bought it and all, they're like, we want everything that you make on our platform. So they got Free Guy, and it's not, it's a lighthearted movie. It's PG-13. It goes there for some jokes, and it does have a couple harsh words, which I don't care. It's fine. But it was kind of odd seeing that on a Disney platform. I was like, this is a little reach in there. There is an F word said in the movie, and I'm like, holy shit, that was not edited for Disney Plus guidelines. The family friendly Disney Plus is not going to edit out the F word. I was like, kudos to you, Disney, getting ballsy. The mouse has got balls. But it was actually a very, it was a I don't want to say lighthearted because it's actually kind of emotional at some points, but it's actually it's a pretty good movie, actually. It's got some really good themes in it about love and affection and doing what's right and what's wrong and having a voice and being a person. Very big on being a person and being a person with feelings, and it's got a good message in it. It's got a good thing that, like, nobody's like the people's lives and what they experience with other people and what that means to certain people. There's some really deep things in there that really kind of got to me, honestly. Like, and some of the performances from Ryan Reynolds and even Jodie Comer, like, it actually really surprised me, because the trailers make it look like this big, lighthearted, silly movie, which it is at heart. I mean, it is that, but it's got some really good, heartwarming, touching themes that really kind of speak to you about, your relationships with the people that you know and you love. And it's like, wow, I was not expecting that. I mean, I didn't expect to shed a couple tears. I had to get some. No, I didn't get any tissues, but I'm like, this is actually pretty nice. This is well thought. And coming from Ryan Reynolds, and it's going to have comedy, it's going to have funny moments, and he delivers in every way, shape, and form. I mean, he's just you see Ryan Reynolds in interviews and other movies, from Deadpool to this, and to his rom-coms back in the day. He's got that very, likable personality, that very upbeat. He'll crack a joke every once in a while about, slightest little things and kind of make things silly. He'll make it, fun, stuff like that. He's very good in this role. As a NPC, and it's just, it's fun. It's a fun movie. It's got some surprises in it. It's got Taika Waititi, who plays like the CEO of the company that makes the game. He's great as well. A couple standout performances. I think Jodie Comer is actually really good in this. She's also in The Last Duel as the main, one of the main protagonists. She's like the princess, I believe, or not the queen, but like the princess of in that movie. She's very good in that as well. And she's been acting for quite a while, like in TV shows and all that. And I think that these were like some of her biggest roles, like The Last Duel and Free Guy. And I was just like, wow, she's very, very good at what she does. She plays, she's a British actress. She has an American accent in this and a British accent in this. And it's like, well, I couldn't even tell. Like, I thought that she was American. I thought she was also British at some points. I'm like, she's like incredible with her accents. I'm like, wow, this woman is very, very good. But if you haven't seen it, or you've been thinking about it, you've seen things about it, like, that'd be fun to see, I'd recommend checking it out, because it was in theaters for a long time. But I was like, I probably won't see it. I'll check it out when it's on, streaming or whatever. And surely enough, like after 3 months, in theaters, it comes on streaming. I'm like, dude, highly, highly recommended. Actually, pretty good movie. More than you think, I think. And there's some very, very funny moments with people that you probably didn't even expect to be in it. It's clever. It's funny. It's an original idea, I believe. So like that's also very. There could be a sequel. Who knows? Maybe another one down the road. But it's just a movie that's not a big franchise or a big property, but it's got the stars behind it, like Ryan Reynolds, to make it enjoyable. And it was fun. I highly recommend it. I think I'm gonna give it. I don't review movies that I haven't seen in theaters on Twitter, so you're gonna hear it's it's an exclusive for this episode. I think I give Free Guy an 8.2. It's very, very good. It's very good. It goes in a way that I wasn't expecting. And that's also because I've seen like maybe one trailer I was like, that could be pretty cool. But you can also, again, the trailer, it's very bare. The surface that you see on the trailer is like very like, oh, this would be, fun. It's like, it's much more than that. It's a fun movie, but there's more to it. And I think the more, the little bit like more that you see of it, it's like, this is sick. And this is a good movie. It's better than I thought it would be. For me, was totally expecting one thing. I got that, but I got even more. And I'm more excited about the more and what that did. I was like, this is nice. This is a good movie. This is a win for Disney Plus as a streaming service. And not to stick around too long with Disney Plus, but they will be getting the Netflix Marvel suite, which is the Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, Defenders, and I believe the Punisher, all going to be on Disney Plus, which are, I believe, all rated R. So that's cool. That's going to be awesome. They're basically saying, like, I never thought that Disney Plus would get R-rated content, being the mouse and all, but it's happening. I'm excited. Maybe that means that other shows are going to be more rated R. I think that after the success of Peacemaker and that being R-rated, that they're like, oh, there's an entire market. Like, we thought that we could just make superhero flicks and shows that are PG-13 and family-friendly. Everybody's going to see it, but they're like, Peacemaker just, like, broke all these records on HBO Max. It's like, maybe we should dabble in with that. Maybe. Who knows? I'm not sure. I've heard that Moon Knight is going to be pretty brutal from what Kevin Feige says. Will it be TVMA? I doubt. But it will be probably not as, lighthearted as a Hawkeye or lighthearted as What If or other shows. Even sometimes WandaVision is pretty lighthearted. Maybe it's going to be a little bit more mature. Who knows, though? That's just a speculation of where they might go in the future. I was thinking about this. I enjoy ice cream as much as the next person. As much as everybody likes ice cream and sweets, I enjoy, for the most part, ice cream. Milkshakes and stuff like that. I think that it's a great way to treat yourself. For a dessert, for a cheat, maybe a little bit of a sweet tooth thing. Maybe you don't. Maybe you cut down on your sugar intake with, you cut out soda, but you want a little bit of ice cream. It's always a treat, and I like it too. I really, really do. But there's a problem I have with certain places and their ice cream and the way that they put it out there. The way they think that this is for ice cream connoisseurs, and we're not necessarily promoting ice cream connoisseurs and eating a lot of ice cream, but the way they phrase it, the way they promote it, the way they sell it does give off a little bit of a sugar addict vibe. A little bit of a vibe. I'm talking about Cold Stone Creamery. And if you ever really look at their menu and look at their sizes in particular and what they sell there and what they create in the form of ice cream, it's good, don't get me wrong, but I feel like it's a bit much sometimes. I feel like they're promoting a little bit of a, we're promoting ice cream culture and we want you to eat as much as we can in a way that doesn't feel like you're eating a lot. Because if they get cute with their sizes. There's no small, medium, and large there. There's like it, love it, and gotta have it. I gotta have it. And if I've been there multiple times, I enjoy their ice cream. But I always usually get a like it. Not because I'm not a ice cream hater, but it's just I've seen the bowls for the love it and gotta have it. You should not be getting gotta have it if you're not going to be sharing that with somebody. That thing is massive. And I mean massive. That could be a tub of ice cream for certain people. For maybe a small family, a couple with a little kid. That's what that is for. You see somebody getting gotta have it, they might have a problem with sugar. They might have a problem. Maybe it's just a treat. Who knows? It could be just for a treat, or that's their daily thing. or thing that's on a regular basis, and you're just like, oh no. But I don't blame them. I don't blame them. You know why? The way they name their ice cream there's no just vanilla. There's no just cookies and cream. There's no just cookie dough either. They make it so like, oh my God, did you see that? That the name of that? I gotta try that. You get names like, for a basic ice cream, cookie dough, right? It's called dough for it. DOUGH for it. It's like, yeah, you love it. Just dough for it. Like that to me is just insane marketing. And it's got to work. This has got to work. PB Dough Delight. It's like another one. Peanut butter with some cookie dough delight. They have that delight there. Like, it's delightful. And then it's like, people will definitely get that. People will line up to buy ice cream that says delight in it. Like, it's a delight. It's a delicacy. Like, it's just ice cream. But, like, we'll make it so delightful. Or ice cream at the end of the rainbow. Like a green ice cream with marshmallows and even like a green cone, just in time for St. Patrick's Day. Like, oh yeah, you know what? We'll make people celebrate the Lord and the St. Patrick with a green ice cream. That'll do it. And we'll make it have rainbow in it too. That way, lucky, rainbow, gold. They'll feel like they're rich when they eat it. Like a true leprechaun. Peanut butter pretzel time. That's a fucking pun off of peanut butter jelly time. Somewhere over the rain dough. Adding in dough there, I see. Very clever. Birthday cake remix. Here's a take that I stand by fully. That people are going to probably turn off the podcast right now, but I have to make this right now, this claim right now. I don't think that cookie dough ice cream, not cookie dough, sorry. Big fudge up there. Not cookie dough ice cream. I actually like that quite a bit. Cake battered ice cream, birthday cake ice cream, is actually not good. It's bad. I think that it's terrible. I don't want to eat a birthday cake in the form of an ice cream. I just feel like that's like, it breaks my brain, and I don't like when places like that make food. I don't even like when they do it with Jelly Bellies, when they break my brain. Like, I don't enjoy that. I want my cake to be cake, not ice cream. And I just think that it's so sugary, and I feel like I'm eating even more sugar than I already am. And I'm like, oh, this is like cake. Give me some sprinkles, some frosting. Like, it's just like, it puts my brain in a pretzel. I'm like, hey, I can't have this. I can't continue with this. This is horrible. And then apple pie a la Cold Stone. Like, this is not your old-fashioned apple pie. This is Cold Stone's apple pie in an ice cream form, in the form of an ice cream. And don't get me wrong, the way they create, the way they craft and build your ice cream is spectacular. They get like these, flat spoons and chop it all up and swirl it around and mix it and mash it and, actually brutalize an ice cream. They get the scoops, whack it on the table, and just like this is what you get. You want to become cookie, don't stop believing, or whatever the hell they call it. Dough for it. Oh, that's actually a good name for. I'm gonna trademark that right now if they haven't done it. Dough stop believing, for like a cookie dough based ice cream. Dough stop believing. That's mine. I hope they did not take that. I hope nobody took that. TM, trademark, copyright, right there. Let's see what else they got there. Berry good. Clever, cute. Putting berries as it's a berry ice cream, but using berry instead of very, very clever. You fucking, moving on. Cake batter. That's again, not a big fan of that. Cheesecake fantasy. Who would want that? Who would actually want that? Never been a big fan of cheesecake, I'll be honest with you. Never really have been. But adding that to my delicious ice cream, I don't think that that's a good idea. I think that that's like sacrilegious, some type of mumbo-jumbo shit that I just don't want to be a part of. Like, people can love cheesecake. Do it with your heart and your passion and your love for it. Do it. I want you to do that. But why put it in ice cream? You got to get some people that just love cheesecake that much to want to be able to have that. And I just think that for me, it's a bit of a reach. It's like almost like cake battered ice cream. Like, we don't need that. We have cake. All right, we don't gotta mix and match and put them all together and make one simple, big creation for sweetie guys that we just want sweet. Let me see what else have we got here. That's clever. Cookie, don't you want some? That was one of their OG flavors, and I've had it, and it's very, very good. As a big cookie guy and a big ice cream guy. Okay, listen. You know what? I'm gonna backtrack because what I just contradicted myself. I just said that they should not be mashing cakes and cheesecake with ice cream. Meanwhile, we have cookie dough and ice cream. I sound like a hypocrite. I really do. And I'm going to call myself out on it. You don't have to call me out right now. I'm calling myself out right now. Who am I as a man, as a person who likes ice cream and cookies, can say that I love the two of these combined and their marriage, their perfect marriage, in my opinion, and say that this is great while the others are not great, that they should be outlawed, essentially, or not even made, not even created. I take that back. But I think that the best one of those combinations, cookie dough, cheesecake, and cake batter, has got to be cookies. It's just, for some reason, maybe it's because it's older and it's more established than cake batter or cheesecake. It's just got a better taste for me. And this is my show. That's just what I like. I'm also a big fan of vanilla ice cream just being vanilla. But will I get a vanilla milkshake? Absolutely not. Either chocolate or cookies and cream, but I would never get just a plain old vanilla milkshake. Like, I just feel like when you're in Rome, you got to go a little bit extra. You got to get the chocolate one. Like, I just feel like the chocolate one is just better. Whether you're at like an actual ice cream shop, In-N-Out, other places where they serve shakes, I just kind of feel like that's where it's at. And also cookies and cream, another cookie in an ice cream. Also phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. My point here is I should not have come after people who like, cake batter or cheesecake when I enjoy cookie dough and Oreos. I mean, that's something I have to live with now, and I have to realize that other people like that as well. But there's, I'm not done yet. There's still some ice creams that I just feel like maybe we should not have. Like, I'm not a big fan of strawberry with strawberries in it. I understand, like, people who eat jam or people who eat other things like that with like bits and pieces of fruit in it. I just feel like with strawberry chunks in ice cream, I don't know. I'm not even a big fan of strawberry ice cream. I just think that it's just kind of average. Some people like it. My father loves it. He loves strawberry ice cream. And I'm just like, I don't know. But you know what I've always been a big fan of, in desserts in particular, is adding nuts into dessert. Say what you will about nuts if you dislike them by themselves. I personally think that they're good. They're good for you too. Well, not every nut, but certain nuts are. Like these nuts. No, I'm kidding. But almond, very good. Peanut, delicious. Pistachio, so good. I just feel like adding nuts and adding a little bit of crunch to that dessert, a little bit of that savory sweetness, is also a match made in heaven. It just is. I don't know what it is about it. It soothes the palate, because we also like sweet and we like savory. And why can't we have a little bit, a dash of that in our ice cream? We get like salted caramel ice cream as well as salted caramel coffees or hot chocolates or whatever like that. Like that salt and caramel, and that's a great, a fantastic, combination. But the point of all this ice cream, this whole talk, is Cold Stone. You are for the ice cream fanatic, and I'm just, your marketing, your sizes, the titles of your ice creams, it's really, for me, it's a bit much, honestly. Like, I can't just go in and ask for cookies and cream, and they're like, well, did you want the overloaded one? Did you want the, Milky Way, or did you want this? It's like, just give me cookies and cream, or give me cookie dough ice cream. I don't want to say cookie dough, you want some. It's like you've got my brain into thinking like I gotta say things all cute and shit, or I just want a basic ass ice cream. All right, why can't I just say I want a small? Why do I gotta say I gotta like it? I don't want to say that. I mean, I do like it. I'm here, obviously. I actually might love it, but you're basically saying like, well, if you'd really love it, get to love it. Like, I don't want to love it. I want to like it. So you don't love it then. I see how it is. If you don't love it, if you really love it, get to love it. It's like, oh man. Or you're like in the mood like, oh man, I gotta have some Cold Stone. Well, you gotta have it then, right? It's like, no. Their menu, man. But again, this is not a total bash on Cold Stone. It's just like, I feel like I'm being guilted into getting the size that I'm feeling at that moment. Like labeling that shit. I don't know. It's just something stupid though. But it's something I do like. I don't get too much, but I'm aware of like how they sell ice cream. I'm like, I don't hate it, but I'm like, it's like maybe ease up on the sizes and the names and all that. I mean, it's pretty much official, right? At the time you listen to this and the time I'm recording this, baseball is pretty much in shambles right now. I mean, pretty much. Whether that be the commissioner's fault, the players, the owners, while it looks like it to be the owner's fault, more than the commissioner or the players, it seems like the first two series of baseball have been canceled, which was to begin on March 31st. Now, this to me is major because, for one, I am a baseball fan. I have been for a long time. Me with the Dodgers. And, I'm always interested in opening day, the lineups, the pitching rotation. I enjoy watching spring training games. It's also a good key for my world clock that, we actually are in spring. Hello. This is nice. And just, I've been a fan my entire life, and for most of my life, maybe not most, but for the recent times, I would say I've been a fan for at least 13 years, which is a pretty big chunk of my life. Keeping up with the Dodgers, we've been playing, but who our players are, our pitchers, and all that. I've really been invested for the past 13 years. And for now, potentially to have stopped. Now, it's not going to, we don't know if it's going to be stopped for the entire season, but for pretty much certainly the first couple games, or the first series, like I said, are indeed going to be canceled. And whether that continues or whether, that gets patched up in the coming weeks, it's worrisome because I love sports. I enjoy watching sports, whether that be football, basketball, March Madness, baseball, even soccer occasionally. We could potentially be getting a season without baseball. I mean, what's that going to do to the league? Is 1 year off going to be substantial? Is that going to create, less jobs? Salaries are going to be hit. Players, checks. Is it going to be detrimental to the league itself? Like, what's going to happen? Is it going to be able to bounce back? And I do believe that it will bounce back eventually, but it's not really. It doesn't seem like it's going to be anytime soon because the players, the owners, the commissioner were all, said to have been engaging in meetings the past, maybe it's what it seemed like to be the last few hours before the deadline. They've been saying it's been the past couple days or the past 10 days, but you had months to do this. You had months to do it, and it's word is getting out that they've word is getting out that they've barely even scratched the surface on it and have no deal in sight. I mean, the optimism in me is there, but it's like when you hear things like we haven't even settled anything, we haven't done much of any work on it. I mean, I don't really get any sense of, stability or, optimism there. And you know me, I'm positive vibes only, but it doesn't seem like it might happen. And will there be drastic changes? Will there be like an opportunity to save the season, to save the sport? I mean, only time can tell, but it just seems like it's such at a grim state right now that the players are very strong in their stance, so are the owners, and so is the commissioner. So I just really, I don't really see in any way that it's going to happen, which is saddening because I go to Dodger games every year. I go to multiple. I try to go to at least a couple. This past year, I believe I went to 2 or 3. I think it was 2. Normally I just go to 1, but this year I went to 2, which was sick. But yeah, it's a shame, and it's a sport that cannot afford to miss a season. Considering like how much they pay their players, there's no salary cap in baseball. How many people like are employed by the MLB? Not just the players, but the staff, the stadium workers, all that, the AAA, AA, single A leagues, how they get their players. It's like it's a huge operation that it's like it's always been the next man up in baseball, whether that be somebody on the bench or in AA or single A or AAA. So it's like, I mean, it's like if this person does not want to get paid or does not want to play because of how much they're being paid, there's somebody down below that is willing to play right now, is willing to take, this guy's spot. Like, say if like Mike Trout was like, I don't want to play because I'm not getting paid this much money. Well, newsflash, Mike, there's like other players down below that are dying to play that will happily take your spot if you don't want to play, or if that were the case. So it's like, I mean, how do you go about that? I don't know. I'm not in that position, and I'm glad that I am not. If I was the players, I'd be like, we need to save it as much as we can because we can't take a year off because there's rumors that baseball is like going to be one of the first major sports that could potentially be overthrown by soccer in America. As much as that seems so like it would never happen, you just got their first, I think like the team in Atlanta United just had like their biggest opening crowd for any game that they've ever had, like 67 or 66,000 people in that arena or in that stadium. I mean, there's no question that it's growing. It truly, truly is. And the teams in LA, you got the New York teams and all that. I think that Texas also has like big attendances as well. So like this could be a blow for not only the MLB itself and their viewership, but like their position in the food chain, essentially, in the terms of viewership. And like I've been seeing a lot of promotion for MLS and all that, and games and players in MLS. So if baseball does take the year off, this one season could be potentially what MLS needed to get even more viewers than ever. Because once the NBA ends, once college basketball ends, there's going to be a little bit of a lull in sports. I mean, like July, late June, July is like mainly baseball territory. But if there's no baseball being played and there's only soccer or MLS, then that's just going to be an opportunity for them to get more and more eyes on them. Because, I mean, it's only natural, right? If you got like nothing to watch, I've been hearing people say that they want to get into it more, that they want to get into the soccer space, and like they know that, maybe their kids are playing it or something like that, and they kind of want to get into it more. I mean, this might be the year for it to happen. Might be, unless baseball could, get their act together and get the season going, it's definitely possible. It's also like I might be overthinking it a bit, but you never know. You never know on what could happen with baseball and how it's gonna shake up. I mean, it's not very encouraging to seeing what positions that the teams, the players, the owners, and the commissioner are like on totally different sides. And like, how are we gonna agree to one thing? It's like all about money. Is it like really all about money? Like, what's gonna happen with that? Truly, no way to predict it. But yeah, that's my bit on sports, and that's this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you were saw my my qualms with Wordle, all that stuff that was happening. Again, I apologize for the bad timing of last week's episode. I mean, it's not really in my control, really. I mean, I guess I could have not put out an episode, but the subject matter, everybody was kind of concerned about one thing when I was trying to talk about Hank the Tank. I realized if that really didn't, sit well with people, I understand. I apologize. There was some breaking news, though, about Hank the Tank, that he might not be the only bear that is committing these break-ins to the houses in the Lake Tahoe community. So we might have to really pull out a whole investigation on what's happening there. There might be more to the story than what we know. I'll have to keep you updated on that. But anyways, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Again, you can find this podcast on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify and on YouTube at Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. Remember to like the video, share the video, rate the video, review the video, do all that good stuff, and leave a comment too. That also helps. Or if you want to DM, message me some idea, some topic, whatever you choose, shoot me up. I have all my social media on the description of the podcast. And yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I will see you guys next week.